quiet, stop talking. Somebody's talking. Be quiet, stop talking. Somebody's talking. Quiet, stop talking. Somebody's talking. Be quiet, stop talking. Somebody's talking.
Hey now, welcome back to another Behind the Investigation episode 15, I think it is. I'm starting to lose count.
Yeah.
I'm here, Jared.
And Brent.
I'm Brent. We're here to talk about something that Brent is going to surprise me with. Brent has picked this one out, and I have no knowledge of it, so this ought to be fun.
Yep.
It's been a nice evening already, so this should be fun.
Cheers, brother. Cheers.
This should be fun. We're going to talk about something that Brent has for us. I don't know what it is, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. This is Monday when you're seeing this. I hope everybody enjoyed the live on Facebook. If you got a chance to watch it on Facebook, that's cool. I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun. But also the documentary seems to be well reviewed. We're up around 350 views and almost 37 watch hours, and we've gotten 8 or 9 new subscribers from it. So I guess it was good. Episode 2 will be coming soon, right, Brent?
Yeah, working on getting that pumped out. Actually, by the time this comes out, you should have the majority, the 95% of it. So that we should be able to get that out relatively soon.
Got some good news. Today I was able to finally locate the correct GoPro camera for our full spectrum static setup. I was able to modify it, so now we have 2 full spectrum static cameras, which has been one hell of a nightmare for the last 3 weeks. I think I broke 3 or 4 Chinese version of the GoPro. They don't make them well, so don't.
Dude, back in the day, back when we were doing this, when we'd make full spectrum cameras, it was so much easier. Like just removing the filter. They make it difficult now with some of these models, that's for sure.
So we're thinking about maybe making some products to sell. So let us know if you'll be interested in that. We're going to make IR lights, REM pods, full spectrum cameras, and maybe a complete setup, something like that. Just let us know if you're interested. Something we're thinking about.
Yeah, playing with the idea.
Yep. So next week, or this week, Saturday, we will be at the Wareheim Myers Mansion in Hanover as a full team. Me and this guy will be back together side by side with Ed and Jackie investigating the Wareheim Myers Mansion, which is, if you don't know what it is, Google it. The place is amazing. I'm
so excited for this one.
Oh yeah. This one's going to be great. They told
Never been investigated. Definitely a new site for us. Overall, here. I mean, it's never been investigated. You've been there once, right?
Mm-hmm. Been there once. Got some K2 fluctuations and some EVPs that I sent you guys, and the one said it was us.
Yeah, and you've got a preliminary plan for where we're going to set up statics. Yep. And how we're going to start the investigation and possibly break off in groups. But it's a big place, bro. I don't know if we're going to be able.
Huge. No.
And Jackie made the comment. I don't know how we're going to investigate this whole place.
This may also, like Gresham that we did back in October. This also may possibly be a Pasadena Paranormal Research Center. What we're trying to do with these locations is, they're They're
Yeah,
on.
it basically, well, I mean, really the logic comes down to finding a location. We've said it probably a million times. We've said it once, we said it a million times at this point. Find a location that you can go back to regularly in order to really get an understanding of how they're using the equipment. I mean, that's always one of the number one things to me. How is this equipment functioning? How are they able to manipulate it? Are they able to get better and better with it? You know, and then from there, start learning more and more and more about them, building relationship
It's
with
always,
whoever's there, and we get more.
I always say it, we have to build that bridge of communication. And you only build a bridge of communication going back to a location multiple times.
Yep.
Getting familiar and building a relationship with the location.
You said getting familiar. You get familiar there, but they're also getting familiar with
That's
us.
what that's
So
all in
yeah,
general, you know.
all in general. And I
Mhm.
mean, so when you look at it like that, I mean, you have to recognize, yeah, we may get some stuff, some interesting stuff off the get. The first one may be amazing, or it may be, just a couple of things here and
Mhm.
there. A few hours may only get 20 minutes on tape of anything interesting, and we're not, we can only show what we get.
Well,
But as time goes on, next thing you know, a 4-hour investigation, and you're like, there's no way we can put all of this in one,
yeah, we've been
documentary.
there.
This is actually free. So
So I also met with our client at Gresham and told her some preliminary things that we feel very confident on today, and she is extremely excited with the information that we have provided.
yeah. So she actually listened already. She's
She hasn't
received.
heard. She hasn't heard. I
It was
just
just verbal.
from
Okay.
my mouth. But
Okay.
she she agrees with what we are saying, and with the living room, and she was extremely happy with that.
Wow.
So
And that's without that information. Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Yep. I told her we're just now scratching the surface of this investigation. Brent hasn't even got the videos.
I haven't got any of it yet.
So we're going to work on getting those over to you soon.
Yeah. I gotta finish Stark County.
We move at our own pace.
I mean, we do have families, and
Yeah, we got life and shit going on, but yeah, that's going to happen here soon, so that's cool. Other than that, let's get shout outs out of the way. I'm just going to put all of yous in there in once. Okay, I'm just going to say all your names at once. There's a lot of people that support us that I love. I love seeing is pop up on the comments every day, and I really appreciate everything you do. And whoever's watching this, the names that are getting ready to come out of my mouth, you need to go to their channel and subscribe. It's Trinity Paranormal Investigations of Long Island. We raise a glass to you. Dark Water, we raise a glass. Kevin Spirit Communications, we raise a glass. Jane Shadow Vision Paranormal, we raise a glass. Skull and Kittens, we raise a glass. Bud Files, we raise a glass.
Hey, bud.
Yep. So those are the people that are always popping up, always popping up on the comments, and we really appreciate everything you do for us. The videos wouldn't be as successful as they are without y'all. And
our Latino.
the
flavor.
Latino flavor, yes. The Latino flavor. The
I drink with you guys, my brother.
Apocarora do Supernatural, KLX Investigao SP, and
Man,
I can't remember.
I know.
Decoro Supernatural. Mario is your name.
Yeah, there you go.
Mario, hey. So, Brent, what do you have for us tonight?
All right. So, you've put out a lot of very Oh man, they're all so profound in their own way. These ITC sessions, at like the battlefields, are they all Gettysburg? Where are they all at? Are they different locations? All
They're all
Gettysburg.
over the place.
Okay, so
We've been to
and
Gettysburg, we've been to Manassas, we've been to Monocacy, we've been to Antietam,
yeah,
we've been to all over.
yeah. So I think honestly, people love these. I love them, and they're so well done. I want to pick one. I have one already picked, obviously.
I
I'm
just
ready
want
to
to
go.
say that I have nothing to do with these except for conducting the session. The
Oh,
entire video is put together by Jackie.
yeah,
She does
Jackie's.
the entire editing of the video, the words, the history. I passed that on to her, and she has been doing a hell of a job with them.
And they're amazing. They are, and obviously well received by our community. Again, I'm a huge fan of them, and
oh yeah, I love doing them. So as long as everybody's loving them, I love doing them. There's nothing I think you should. I love taking a Saturday and just going to a battlefield and finding 3 or 4 places and doing them.
And you honestly, I told you before, you have me inspired to hit up Camden up the road from me, which is a Revolutionary War battlefield, and I want to go do the same thing and see if I can get any interaction. So it's inspiring to me. Obviously, the responses you're getting are mind blowing, and it's we've never talked about them like in detail on here as a kind of a behind the investigation, and that's what I'm going to slam on you. Now,
I'm down on that. I'm down on that. Let's do it.
All right. That being said, I picked my favorite, are the one that spoke the loudest. It's difficult because there's so much good stuff in all the different ones. But I picked what I think is the most recent one. Hold on, let me see real quick. This is okay. So we're gonna do the Rose Farm.
Ooh. Anybody that doesn't know the Rose Farm is on the corner of the wheat field in Gettysburg. The wheat field was the second day of battle. 9,000 casualties on the wheat field alone from both sides. 9,000 casualties on, and most of it was hand-to-hand combat.
Really? What?
Yeah, it was brutal.
Dude, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, like it was hand-to-hand battle. Like they were close quarter fighting, and the Rose actually has still to this day, and they don't know how many because of the casualty numbers, but still to this day there is 500 to 1,000 Confederate soldiers buried on that property.
So they were though,
and they don't know where they're at exactly.
They do or don't?
They don't.
But they were buried, or they just were left there and kind of
they were buried.
Okay.
And
so battlefield buried.
Battlefield burials where 20 of them. Oh, let's throw 20 of them in this hole. Let's throw 30 of them in this hole. But they don't know that they've tried to excavate, and they still are finding.
Have they found any?
They are finding bodies to this day. Still, it's and that's why I went there with the kids one time. Me, Jackie, and the kids, and I wanted to introduce the kids into spirit communication, and we were getting things, and they were saying the kid's name and talking about their ranks and everything like that. They wished me a happy birthday on my birthday. It was on my birthday. It was pretty cool.
That is really cool.
It's an awesome place. If you ever go to Gettysburg, and I know how Gettysburg is loaded with people, but if you find the Rose Farm, there's nobody there. It's off the beat. It's off the beaten path, and it's you can sit there and just suck in the history for hours before you'll see somebody.
So let me go ahead and share this screen. First off, I want to say what an amazing location here. Just how Jackie had this framed here. So The home behind us, is this the Rose Farm main home? Is that what this is?
No, that's the barn. That is the barn. And it took fire, it took cannonball, and it took some heavy artillery. It didn't collapse until several years after the war.
Wow. I mean, honestly, and I'm not like an art nerd or anything. I'm a nerd about a lot of stuff. I'm not an art nerd, although I do dabble in art. But the contrast here, I'm just going to point out some beauty things. Like the contrast in that brick and grout, along with the sky, this looks like a freaking painting backdrop. This is beautiful. Like, I mean it. This is beautiful.
That's Gettysburg for you.
Yeah.
That's Gettysburg.
This is amazing. All right. So I'm going to have you first off explain a couple geographical things. So this is the barn behind us.
Mm-hmm.
The farm itself, do you know how much ground that actual farm the property was, or why it was? It's obviously called the Rose Farm for a reason, but how
the
big
Rose
did it go into
family
that?
owned? So,
part of it?
like I said, you have here's your Rose farmhouse. Here's the barn. I'm standing in the middle. So the barn's behind me. The Rose farmhouse is over here. The wheat field's over on this side. Their property is in front of you, on this side. Yeah, the wheat field's in front of me. This way. If this way is their property.
Okay.
So if I turn my head up and look straight, that's the wheat field. If I turn it 45 degrees this way, that's their property.
Okay. All right, gotcha. So the battle was actually in the wheat field, or was all over this property right here?
It was all over this property. It was in the wheat field, and it spilled over into their property. There's a ridge behind the house that heavy artillery was coming over.
Were they still there? Do you know?
Yes.
Was the family? They were?
Yeah.
Dude, I couldn't. I mean, everybody, can you imagine that right now? Think about war breaking out and just
cannonballs just flying over top of it.
Flying through. I mean, you know, I got a 2-year-old daughter, and I tell you what, I don't know.
Same thing with Spangler. The same thing with the Spangler house there. They were there. They stayed. They didn't. I mean, nobody knew it was going to happen. It just popped up. The Battle of Gettysburg it was fought over a pair of shoes. Confederates came into the town looking for shoes, and it started a war. It started a battle. But yeah, so.
All right. So there's our picture. This is beautiful. The framing of this video, honestly, is my favorite out of all of these ones. I mean, obviously you've got some great ones. I'm not shitting on any of them. They are all amazing. They all look cool. They have a great background. This one just speaks to me. Mm-hmm. And that is also where I'm going to cue into a part of this video. Obviously, I'm going to play the whole video. There's the first thing we're going to hit on is just something that speaks to me. And like, I think most people can relate. And if so, comment below, family members here. So, you know, I think everybody's kind of had a part or been in a position where they're in some kind of investigation, or even just a whatever natural surrounding, and you hear something that maybe doesn't resound really loud with everybody. Like everybody heard it, but they're like, yeah, whatever. But to you, it hits home, and you're like, I can't get that out of my mind. I can't stop thinking about what I heard there, whether it was a sound or a word or something, and you can't get past it. That's kind of what we're going to lead into here. And I don't even know if you know the timing of the video where I'm at, but I'm going to play this. And
I don't watch the videos.
All right. So let me play it. We're going to listen to it. I'll pause it when I'm past the point where I want to talk about, and then I'm going to ask you your thoughts on it. Because you and I haven't even talked about these. You know, like we haven't even had a personal conversation off camera about this. So let's go ahead. Let me play this, and we're going to get into it.
Farm, please, and how many children lived here?
It's 5.
What did that just say? That just said like, and I'm fine or in fine standing. Yes. Could you tell me what that meant? I'm just gonna shut up for.
All right.
I'm just gonna shut up for a few seconds and
Yeah. And I get that. Like, and I definitely, can relate and understand to not being able to hear everything real time. It's difficult. But what
I heard all that in real time.
You did? Right. What was and what was captioned there, what Jackie captioned is exactly what I heard.
Yep.
And this is something that resounds with me, that, you're asking about the family and the children there. On the location. You're not asking about the battlefield. And I know, like, again, a lot of people would focus in on this video and think about the history stuff. This one is personal, bro. Like, personal on a whole different level. Death is personal. War is personal. Like, when you're looking at it, talking to a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
This just came through. And I do hear it like flowing as a continued conversation. My name's Thomas.
I'm fine.
I'm fine. But then you're like, what's that? What do you mean you're fine? What were you just trying to get a point on? There was a child that, that was whipped badly. There was one child that was whipped badly. Dude, I was like, in the world? What?
And I heard all this in real time, and I said, all right, well, I'm just going to shut up and let you do your thing for a few minutes. Like, I literally said, okay.
And I can understand that, because it's like, how do I what's my response?
How do I respond?
What's my response to that right now?
I had no idea how to respond to that.
And I don't either. And I'm thinking about it like, it's mind blowing that something just came across with such a personal statement. That's very personal. And was it Thomas? Was it? And I mean, it's like, it's just trying to uncover why. Why was that?
Was that in there? This whole dude.
It was on their mind.
This whole session was just. I mean, there was so much going on in this session, like so much responses. If you watch the whole video, you can see that I am completely overwhelmed at times. Like,
I feel it.
Like, emotions is hitting me, and I'm like, hey man, like, y'all need to chill out a little bit. You're getting deep over here.
Yeah, it's like, look, I can only contain so much emotion here. I'm on camera.
hey, you're gonna push me over the edge here, bud. You need to calm down, or whoever. How many of you?
Like and all I can do is speculate. My imagination and my emotion kind of take over in a situation like what was just said there, and I'm thinking, if this was just a family member child, or is this just a family, one of the children of this family that was whipped badly? Did he die? Like, I mean, having nothing to do with this battle? Or did this battle come and, somebody from this war got a hold of one of these kids? And
to get a complete answer from that response right there, it would have to take an entire night investigation.
And I actually said, I made a comment in this video. And I said, dude, you have to go back and do more. Like, with such a personal relationship already established. And we're going to move forward to actually show that, because I have another part, which I'm sure you've already guessed now, but we'll get into it. With such a personal relationship already established, and however short amount of time, you said you'd gone there, and there you go. I mean, it just backs up that point, that the more you go to a place, get responses from the same spirits, you build relations. I go back. How can you not go back to this?
Oh,
place?
definitely. Well, we will definitely be going back to Rose, because before tonight's BTI, Jackie was like, hey, we only have 2 more battlefield sessions. We need to get back out there.
Dude, that's awesome. Jackie, brilliant. She said Rose?
Yeah. So as the weather gets colder, less and less people go to Gettysburg, and there's more places that are open that typically have foot traffic all day long.
Well, I'm ready to see this in a fall landscape, maybe even a winter one. Maybe,
Yep.
you know, you like showing your guns off here, and we love seeing them. But, you know, can we all imagine Jared in long sleeves and maybe even a coat? I don't know.
I'll tell you what, it was hot as shit that day.
Yeah. Dude, how you standing out there without bugs attacking you? I don't know. But all right. So I just want to say, and to everybody else watching this, I know plenty of you have already seen this and made comments, but to that specific one there, I mean, how does that affect everybody? Like when you listen to that, Jared, does that hit you on a deep emotional level?
I mean, you could see when I hear what did that. I'm Thomas. I'm fine. What
and then
the hell does that mean?
Yeah, and the fact that it said I'm fine, and then you were like, well, what's that in reference to? And it's like there was one small child that was whipped very badly, and it's like, was that you, Thomas? You know what?
So that's definitely one thing that I'll be hitting on again when we go there. Hey, Thomas,
and go into that. So there you go. I mean, I just want to know everybody else. Maybe maybe it's just you and me that hit. But I can imagine a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people have heard that, and I wonder if it really hit them that hard. All right, I'm just going to let this play for a little bit, and I'll pause it as it gets through because I can't remember exactly where the next parts are. But anything that comes up in the middle, I'll pause possibly and ask you some questions. So let's hear what else happens.
2 seconds. You just tell me what you want to say. I'm not going to ask a question, but tell me what you want to say. Open mic. He's gone. Thomas is gone for a little bit. What day was it when you died?
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. That was crystal clear. Don't leave angry. Now, this is Echovox, all right? I'm just going to say it. This is Echovox. Phonemes rolling. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry for the phrase, don't leave angry. For phonemes to just randomly pop up and line up
to where
perfectly to say, don't leave angry. Like you've heard of people say, oh, if you give a monkey a typewriter, and you were able to he would eventually randomly write out, whatever, the Bible or something like that. No, he can't. It is literally impossible. That is a lie. That is a foolish statement because it's impossible. The probability isn't there unless you were, what's the movie? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Unless you had the improbability drive and you hit that button, that's how improbable it is. It cannot happen. So maybe not to that level, but even at this level, don't leave angry is not coming out of this thing random pattern. Sorry. So the fact that it said don't leave angry opens up a whole new level of questions.
What are they talking about?
Do they think you're angry? Do they think Thomas was angry? What?
Is it somebody talking to Thomas like, hey, get back here, don't leave angry? Or, hey.
I mean, I literally have no clue how a spirit, and I don't mind admitting this. I think I did admit it already. I have no idea how they're manipulating this to make this say what it's saying. Again, but I tell you, random doesn't do that.
Again, with this location, though, and our theory of what's going on, there could be hundreds of them. So,
bottom line, you already said there's a couple hundred to a couple, at least 1,000 buried there. Are they wandering?
9,000 casualties too. There could be hundreds of them just coming through, walking by, talking and being caught up in that echo and being spit back out. So
so it brings in the question. And I'm just going to say this now. It's not a part of this actual discussion with this video, but it brings up points of conversation that that I've had with Kevin, you and I have had about not just the how, but the why. Is it intended? Do they have to intentionally do something to be picked up. And it's not being picked up. Like, this isn't like just an EVP. For them to speak through phonemes that are randomly generated, they would have to somehow, and I cannot think of a logical way, somehow grab phonemes before they come out, manipulate, and set them up so they come out with a phrase. Okay, that sounds like it's very intentional. So could a passing by spirit, the energy just, I don't understand it.
The same thing with the same thing with the Ovilus. How do they know to hit the
certain levels
to say the word that says hate happiness?
Yep. Yeah, I know exactly. Go call your men. You know?
How does that happen?
How does that happen? I don't. So that aside,
and as long as we start pushing the boundaries of this field, maybe they'll be more receptive to it and
yes.
learn how to use the equipment better.
And that's exactly right. And that's what I would like to get into. If we can get to that point where you set up and establish a regular location that you help, both sides get help, and it leads to that actual conversation. How are you doing this?
Yeah.
What do you see? What are you actually doing right now to make that word and get answers coming? So for this one, unfortunately, we're going to have to sit in kind of a limbo state with it. It's confusing on how, but I can't argue with the fact that it did say,
don't leave angry.
And I'm floored thinking about the possibilities of what that was implying. What was that even meant to represent?
With the amount of souls that were lost on that property, it's hard to tell what that was intended for.
Or did they misread your emotion? Can they sense your emotion? Did they misread it and think that your silence was anger or whatever? I mean, there's so many different possibilities. All right, so let's play. We're not going to get any more with that, but interesting stuff there.
What day was it? What was the date? Is it true that 500 to 1,000 Confederate soldiers are on this property? Buried.
Dude, hundreds. Dude, and you can hear the hundreds.
Hundreds.
I mean, that, again, and I hate to keep getting on this Echovox. I mean, if anybody wanted to hate the Echovox, I really could jump in there because I just don't understand it. But I can't help but grab onto it because you just asked a question
and then answered it,
and not in your voice. This wasn't hundreds out of your voice. It said hundreds. It's baffling. So that's
why we use it, folks. That's why we use it.
Yeah, that's why we use it, no doubt. And I want to try and punch holes in it. I really do, but every time I try, I'm baffled by it and just not understanding how they're manipulating it is the only hard for me. I can't argue.
We need to step our game up and ask them how maybe we need to step our game up and ask them how the hell they're using it.
Yeah, because I'm not skeptical of the fact that spirits are real. I'm not skeptical of the fact that they can communicate with us. Those are real things to me, and no one's going to change my mind. I know it. It's a know, not a believe. I know it.
Yep.
I know there's words coming out that I can hear that shouldn't be doing it because I've listened to the Echovox for hours just sitting in my house.
And nothing comes out.
And I've recorded it and listened back, not just listened to it live. I put it on a recorder, walked away, come back, and I've listened to it while working. 10-hour days, just listen to it and be like, man, I don't hear nothing, So the fact that it's saying this is real, I don't know how. So anyways, let's go on. Let's see what else we get captured here because there's something coming up that I want to get on. Hopefully it happens.
Hundreds. Are you one of them? And if you are one of them, tell me your name and your state and your rank, please. Do you remember telling me happy birthday the last time we were here? Because it happened.
Look, that just said, and you know,
And
you
I
can
heard
hear
it.
here's another thing. You can hear your voice echoing. All
Oh, yeah.
right.
Uh-huh.
I just want to make sure everybody else knows that, and I know it too. I can hear your voice when it echoes. It's your voice, and that was just like happy birthday. You know, that was not your voice.
That was not my voice. And I heard it in real time. Let it play.
I know.
It's not my birthday now, but thank you. Blew it back.
Oh, that one
Goosebumps.
gets me. Blew it back is just an interesting statement itself. Then it says goosebumps.
Yeah. Like, what are
Were
we
you? I have to ask. Were you goosebumping at that moment? Were you before it said
after
that?
the happy birthday? After I heard a happy birthday, yes, I was goosebumped.
And I hope everybody else is realizing that, like, that is, if that's exactly what they were implying, if that's exactly what they were saying, that means not only can they see you, oh, sorry, not only can they hear you because you're communicating, that they can see you. And not only can they see you, but they can see you to the level of recognizing the goosebumps coming up on the surface of your skin.
Yeah. And I tell you what, folks, it's 86 degrees there that day with probably 70% humidity.
Yeah.
So goosebumps shouldn't have happened. But when I heard happy birthday again,
Yeah.
for the second time at that place on the second time that I went there, I got goosebumps.
And all right, so that's awesome. And I think it's awesome in a profound way because of the fact that if that's exactly what they were implying or getting at, what it actually shows. I mean, it's just another piece of evidence to show that, hey, yes, they're hearing, but not just hearing, they're seeing. And not just in some kind of ethereal, like, you know, mystical, wavy way or some weird color. If they can see your skin, goosebump, that's detail. Detail that we have to get up close to somebody to see. So it makes me wonder how many are right on top of you.
Exactly. That's why I start to say, hey.
Yeah, how many are here? Are you? Oh, you do say, I don't know, maybe right here. Are you right here next to me? I think you can get onto that. But okay, the blew it back. I'm clueless. It's an amazing phrase, statement to come out. What is it? What do you think that's implying or getting at? I don't know.
I have no idea. Blew it back. Maybe they blew something back at the other side. Who knows?
Oh, and see, that's what's getting me. It's like with this kind of communication, you don't know who's talking, what's matching up with what. Because was blew it back just a random statement about a war or a battle? Yep. Was blew it back talking about your emotions? Like, dude, you just blew him back, you know, by saying happy birthday. Yep. Watch, you know, like maybe it was blew it back.
With these sessions, it's just, you got to think there's a lot of people there. You know, there's a lot of souls there, and every soul has its own personality. So
not just that, but think about the time, the era of it. Exactly. So think about how our vocabulary is now versus 20 years ago, versus 50 years ago, versus 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Our grandparents' vocabulary was different than ours now. We have different meanings. So blew it back could have meant just that, dude. You just blew his mind. You know.
Yep.
Or crazy. Doesn't mean you're taking it back to a past time. So whatever that phrase means, and if anybody knows of what the phrase "blew it back" is documented somewhere, what that meant, you know, what year would this have been? You think
that would 63? 1863.
1863. Yep. So I mean,
159 years ago, 158 years ago.
Blew it back. What does it mean? You know, is it a phrase that actually that was used back then? So there you go. And then of course you have where they came from. You know, maybe it was a local phrase used, here, not in the rest of the country. So
it could be anything. Again,
yeah.
just.
But the fact that it came out can't be argued. All right, let's see where else we get to, because there's one other thing I want to get to, hopefully before the end of this.
Hey, yeah. I did get goosebumps when I heard you say happy birthday. Pretty cool. I want to know how you felt that day. I want to know that day how you felt going into that battle. Heaven?
That's an interesting one. It's interesting that if it was an answer to that statement, because I can't imagine going into that battle felt like heaven, but I can imagine them thinking,
it's my time.
I'm about to go to heaven.
It's my time.
Yeah, it's my time type of thing. And I think I really, me personally, me, we have very, very similar theological beliefs here. And I do appreciate your response back to them. But let's go ahead, because what I want to get to is coming up soon.
Nobody's going to see that until he comes. Don't worry about that right now. Keep your faith. But I want to know how it felt that day. Oh my goodness. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That one,
I'm gonna stop right here. Let me stop sharing screen. Everybody, dude, I'm gonna stop sharing. We're gonna get into that. That was the last part I want to do with this one. So let me stop sharing.
That one hit hard.
Dude.
That one hit hard. Let me tell you, when I heard that, I heard every syllable when I heard that. He's a friend.
I went from this side of the screen, I can see the emotional truck that just
it literally hit me. I was like,
too.
Oh my goodness. Did that just say what I just thought it said? So you consider me a friend?
Yes.
Okay. That is cool. That is very cool, and I thank you for that.
Yeah.
Dude,
and that is right there. You get something like that, that's not something you walk away from. That's a reason to come back, because there's the connection.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely be going back to that.
And think about the statement. He didn't. That spirit didn't say, "You're my friend."
Mm-hmm.
All right, that would have been awesome as well. Don't get me wrong. No, but he didn't say that. He said he is our friend. He's our friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's our friend.
He's our friend. He's a friend. He's a friend.
He wasn't talking to you.
No, he wasn't talking to me. It was going to the other ones.
He's saying, guys, he's our friend. He's a friend of ours. All right.
And going back to the documentary, that's not the first time that's happened.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there you go.
Like, that must be Basil
right back to that to the conversation we had last week about Benson Hammond, and how that is also about so you have Benson Hammond, where there's a reference to how they feel about us. Mm-hmm. You have Howard County, which we've already shown that EVP, where there's a child, mm-hmm. and it says, it's in German, but it's saying, Sarah, look, these are our friends. In German, it says that. It's amazing.
This will tell you, folks, like, you see these people go in and try to provoke these spirits and be disrespectful. You got to think of it this way. If you really want spirit communication and you want to further the field, and not just get views, or not just get subscribers.
Yeah, not just try to make a scary video.
Or not just make a scary video, but to actually investigate, to actually build bridges of communication. Yeah. You have to treat these spirits with respect.
Yep.
They were human at one time. If somebody comes in being a jerk and wants to try to talk to you, do you want to talk to them?
Nope. And I mean, don't get me wrong.
No.
You go in with the wrong attitude and you're a jerk and you're pushing and you're provoking. Yeah, you're probably going to get a
You're
response.
gonna get a reaction.
But what's the purpose? What point?
You're not
What does everybody
furthering.
gain?
You're not furthering anything in this field doing it because we all know it exists. What are you proving?
Yep.
Proving you're an asshole.
Yep. Agreed. So
Once you build a respectful relationship with spirit, and you can get interactions where they say he's a friend, or that's Basil Benson's man, then
Yep.
you start to get real communication.
Yep. And then you're actually going to get some traction and answers and actually progress a conversation. And I mean, that's just, if that's not why you're in it, into this field, I get it. I mean, everybody's got their different reasons, but this field is only going to progress when the entirety of the field starts honing in on this. And you know, we love going to different places. We're never going to stop going to multiple different places. Everybody does it, and I think it's important to do. But
it's also
always come
to
back.
build those relationships up in different areas.
Yeah, and learn more, because something may work really well here and something else not, but the opposite could happen over here. So it's also trying to learn the technology, learn what happens. You might have something that actually, you know, an apparition, something that can actually manifest in this location and never have it anywhere else.
Yep.
All right. So obviously, we'd love to see that. Even if you don't capture it on camera, seeing that would be pretty cool.
I've seen them a few times.
Yeah, exactly. We all have. We
So is
definitely
Brent.
have. Yeah, but using the technology is also important for this field, because repeatedly getting an activity from the technology, that, you know, you can start really getting a baseline for what it's doing, how it's doing it, what are they doing, and then we start the relationship. We can get to the point of, how are you doing? What are you seeing? What are you manipulating? How are you doing this? Is the flashlight really being turned on by somebody? If so, what are you doing? How are you doing
it? Exactly.
Yep. And you know, we use all sorts of different, you know, items and technology trying to get some activity from it. Trinity Paranormal, one of their recent videos, and I say recent, it's from like the past 5, I think. They did one where the cat ball, everybody's using these cat balls now. We got them too. Theirs goes off multiple times. I've yet to see ours go off. I would love to see that and really dig into why. I mean, I'm gonna be stomping around that joker if it does, trying to get it to
You
go off.
haven't seen the videos from Gresham yet.
I know. Did you guys get really? I can't wait to see that.
Yes.
I really want to be around when it does. You know, I want to bash the technology until I
The
can't.
cat balls will be out tomorrow as well. So
I want to see it. That'd be cool if we use them. It'll be the first time that we put them in action. Yes,
yeah, we used them for the documentary, but nothing happened.
Okay, so I want to see that, but stuff like that, you know, maybe it gets activity here, but not over here. So obviously, going to different locations is important. I'm definitely a proponent for that.
So it's
go ahead.
It's like you have to build that bridge. You have to build that bridge, and you're only building that bridge, like I said, multiple times. You're only building that bridge with multiple times going to a location.
Right.
That's how we're going to want to do this with other locations coming up, and they seem to be willing to do that. We got some good news today. Also, we were contacted by another historical location in the area. Not going to say what it is just yet, but they took our information to the board, and there's going to be a vote for us to come in and investigate and possible public tours for this area that was a tavern in 1753. So going back to London Town, which is our December 11th investigation, and Gresham, which was our October investigation. these locations seem to possibly have a connection, which would be nice.
That would be awesome. And that brings another point of going to different locations. And I mean, imagine establishing a connection between multiple locations, actually getting responses in reference to that one over there or that one over there that actually connect from both locations. We can see it.
And that's things that we'll be able to do with the Wareheim and the niece house as well.
And I will say to that notion, obviously something in my head that I want to see if it's possible is if these old standing locations are like we believe like beacons, in to the spirits, like, okay, they're actually seeing, they just saw goosebumps on your arm, so they see everything changing around, but that's still there, and I know it. So if it's like a beacon, and do they go between these beacons? Like, so
you also got to think, what happens to these locations? What happens to them? They become museums.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
And what happens to museums? They have an open and close date,
Yep.
So there's times where there is absolutely no human interaction in the house. And they're able to say, hey, you know what?
We're chilling. This is ours.
We're good here. There's nobody here. Let's hang out here.
And I mean, that actually brings another thought. And I'm not trying to keep this going too long, but so many different thoughts in my head. Like, do they want interaction? Does interaction bother them? Does our presence make them comfortable or whatever?
We've gotten so many times, stop talking, don't do that, don't talk to them.
A controlling spirit, like don't talk to them.
Let's not do this. Stuff like that. We've gotten so much stuff coming through Spirit Box and EVP and Echovox Obulus trying to say, hey, let's not communicate with them right now. Why is that?
I tell you, it sparks my imagination, and it's all speculation, right? We're trying to put a puzzle together, but it's, to me, on one side, it's kind of like your mom or your relative or something saying, do not get involved in it. Don't delve into that side of the unknown. It's dangerous. I can kind of see maybe someone's like, look, don't get involved with the living because it's just going to spark up emotion in you, and I can't be angry for until he comes back. Just don't bother with him. Or is there higher governing powers over them where it's like, look, I know what's going to happen if we talk to these living people, because that one guy is going to come by and check and see that we're talking. We're going to get a little hurt from him,
Yeah, it's definitely things that we need to touch base on. We've always had that dominant spirit theory.
Seems there's always, because
we always it always seems to come through. It always seems,
and not just with us. Watching other people's legitimate, people that we like seeing legitimate investigations, we kind of get that feeling too. Like, wait, I think that could have been in that same ballpark. So yeah.
Something that needs to be researched further, as I always say. The research needs to further in that area.
Yeah, and I mean, that's how we look at this. This is, more like research,
But believe me, folks, if I could do this full time and get paid the amount of money that I get paid from the day job, we would have a lot of answers.
Yep.
But I have to go to the day job and pay this freaking mortgage.
That life costs. Yep.
Yes, it does. So I think that's it. I think we're going to end it here.
Did I do good? Did I find a good one for us?
Dude, I loved it. All right,
cool.
I think next week, I don't know, maybe I'll let you do another one because I like it.
Right. I thought it was good too. Awesome. I hope you all enjoyed it too. Got some interesting answers from Jared here, and a little more insight to what was going on and the history of the location. So Jackie did a great job. I want to shout out to her again. I love these videos. I hope you guys keep doing them.
She's doing a hell of a job. She'll have another one out for you on Friday.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
She'll have another new one on Friday. I don't know if it's going to be Bronner Farm from Manassas Battlefield or Best Farm from Monocacy. I don't know which one. Whatever one she feels like getting done this week. Jackie moves at her own pace.
Right on.
So we're going to let you go this morning. I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. So for me, Jared,
And Brent.
I wish you would do, and we will not let you walk into that darkness alone. See you, y'all.
See you all.